Granblue Radio! Good evening, everyone. What's up? It's Granblue Radio episode 3! Whoa, 3 episodes in a row. That's like, what is it, 13 weeks? I think that's how it works.
What?
Hey, what's up, Dom?
What's up, James?
I'm in space as usual. Actually, I completely forgot to change the background, but I'll still be in space, whatever.
It's all good.
So yeah, Granblue Radio's 3rd episode. Wow, that's something.
It's almost like we're getting consistent or something like that.
We're
Weird.
also consistently late, but we'll have to pretend.
Don't worry, we're fighting game players. Everybody's used to it.
But either way, this is another Granblue Radio. Starting straight out of the gate, there's some pretty hot news about Granblue Fantasy that just came out like 15 seconds ago, pretty much.
But other than Defend Order? Or is this Defend Order?
And this is Defend Order, yeah.
Okay. I saw details about it on the 16th. Let me go try and check it out now, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, there is, as you may... I'm having this problem recently with my graphics card, but... Yeah, alright, anyways. I just have to not accidentally show pornography on stream.
Alright, that's...
Yeah. So, anyways, so Defend Order is, as you may know, the Granblue Fantasy, the first arc of the story, we're dealing with the Empire and stuff, it's pretty much all finished. So, they're moving on to the second arc of the story now, which is likely what this Defend Order thing is called. And so, just pretty much yesterday, or the day before that, they are doing it's kind of like a location test, but basically 250 people have to like put their names in a hat pretty much, and then they side games will pick 250 of them, and then they'll be able to go to this like special event where they'll be able to like look at the new contents that's very Japanese, the new material and stuff, new content and what's in store for the rest of us. And that'll happen on actually pretty soon. Actually, it's apparently May 14th. So it doesn't really say when this kind of content will be available to the rest of us or anything, but it's definitely well within probably, I would say, beta state, you know?
Right.
So.
They've been referring to this since Tokyo Game Show as sort of a new way to play Granblue Fantasy, but it hasn't really come out yet. I believe their pitch for it was something like a real-time, sort of more strategy experience than an RPG experience.
I'm not really sure what to think of it, honestly.
We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, hopefully it doesn't... I mean, there's a lot of things I like about this game, but I do like that I can kind of not pay too much attention and still feel like I'm doing something. That is probably one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Either way, it'll be interesting to see how it develops. Either way, we'll be covering it as it comes, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. The big question will be essentially when it'll roll out to the rest of us. I mean, what they were initially putting out there, it felt a lot like the World Fight from Tokyo Game Show, where it was only a few people at Tokyo Game Show who were allowed to go ahead and play that. You had to be at their booth, and then they brought that back out to the rest of us. And so Defend Order, not quite the same. I think this one's going to be much more to the liking of people who are trying to find a new way to play the game, and it's going to be more permanent mode, but we'll find out. Maybe it'll be part of the game permanently, who knows?
I do wonder about it. Like, you know how multi-battles are like an hour and a half, right?
Yeah.
So if I had to speculate, it would be probably something like... Actually, I can't believe I'm bringing this up, but something like Neopets? Where you have this like really, really strong boss, and you could join it at any time. And you'd basically join it at some phase in the fight, pretty much. Regardless of when you joined. So then it would just be like a super epically long fight, and you could like die in it and come back later, kind of thing too. I can't believe I brought that up, but that's probably what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen with this. There's a lot of ways it could go. We'll find out on the 14th what they actually have in mind.
Someone's linking me something. Is this breaking news?
Yeah,
Uh-oh,
actually,
yeah.
I was going to mention this to you. They updated the Legend Gacha for tonight. There are going to be 3 new characters again. And,
Indeed.
of course, the way that these things go, they've gotten new ability names and new effect names, so we can just look at this and then none of this actually means anything. All
Yeah,
of
they.
these,
So the first character, we really don't know exactly what these characters do. We'll probably have to end up covering these next week. But the first character is Korwa.
Yep, an artist.
She's an artist.
And she's another kind of stock character. She's the kind of stock character like Rashid is in Street Fighter V, where she's constantly gaining stock rather than depleting a stock.
Yeah, so she's got this thing called feel.
Phil, I
Phil?
think. Given that given that she's an artist, I'm guessing it's Phil. Problem is, though, that all of her ability names are in French, so I don't know. Maybe it's Phil. You're right. Maybe it's.
Yeah.
I'd have to brush up on my French on this one, because she gives your team esprit, and then astuce, and then Cole, and like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, these are all like new abilities, probably like in the vein of like tension and all those other things. So
Yeah.
oftentimes these abilities tend to be really good because they're completely different, unique modifiers, but sometimes they're extremely underwhelming because they're just not good. they're just too afraid to take too many risks with them, and they end up being bad.
Because whenever they end up taking too many risks, like the last time they introduced a new weapon keyword, Kamui, well, it turned out to be broken in half. Who would have thought?
Whoops. Anyways, that's the first character. Whatever she does is a mystery at the moment, but when she takes damage, she gets more of her gauge back. I don't know if she'll end up being a stable party member just based off of that. Because I mean, like Rosetta is considered pretty strong, but she's kind of weird in multi-battles.
Yeah,
But maybe her abilities don't really require them, and it could just be gravy, you know?
I mean, we don't even know what her cooldowns are. If this Astuce buff has like a cooldown of 10 turns, then, well, you're gonna have enough for it every time, basically. So who knows?
All right, well that'll be interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Next character is Sen. She kind of the big giant claws are. I guess that's my aesthetic.
Big Giant Claw's nice. The thing is that she's voiced by Hirohashi Ryo, who I'm trying to think of the last thing that she was popular in. I think it was Clanad. She hasn't really been around in a while. She plays a lot of the quiet characters.
I see. Yeah, she looks kind of standard, except for, I guess the last ability. I'm not really sure what her support ability is supposed to do either.
Yeah, it just says, I'm going to show you something nice, meow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, who knows? It looks like she can, once again, just sort of like Anila, the SR version, take herself out of combat for a turn, and then build something out. Who knows?
I'm not sure I'm not sure. It could be anything, really. Another potato. Hey, we have a light potato now. We did it.
Red Mage Potato.
Yeah.
Voiced by Yonaga Tsubasa, who is a favorite of Fujoshi, especially because of his time in Ofuri.
Yeah, I guess we're getting a lot of rare potatoes lately. That's kind of sad if you think about it.
I'm sure we're getting more SSR potatoes soon, but we do have to point out that this is yet another Arun SSR that we're getting, so it's the year of Arun.
Arun, and then potato. Last one was human Arun potato.
And then before that was a Doraf, and then another Doraf at SR, but then that Doraf got nerfed into the ground, so who knows?
Yeah. I guess the year of Arun is going to hang around for a while then, at this rate. Let's see. So he's the light type. He's a balance type. Oh, wow. I guess, aside from the Ogi meter cost, he seems kind of strong, actually.
Yeah. I mean, he actually is just a Final Fantasy XI Red Mage.
Yeah.
He enchants his weapon. It does weakness damage. He enchants his weapon again. It does more weakness damage. So...
that seems kind of useful, actually.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I mean, Light Potato is also completely unsupported, so it's not like he's
somebody sub.
gonna do anything.
Let's see. Yeah, he's got the he gets targeted less, but he has lower defense.
Yeah, once again, I wonder if they're gonna try and make that the flavor of potatoes.
I wonder about that too, actually. I mean, he doesn't have any particular synergy with it, but yeah, he looks pretty cool.
I mean, I like the design. I like I said, it reminds me of playing Red Mage in FF11.
Yeah,
you just
except
enchant your weapon and just poke.
Yeah, I'm down with this. I guess that's it for new characters. I guess we'll find out more about them next week. We'll see what the actual performance is, especially for this new character. A special type in Wind is interesting.
Although, of course, she does nothing with a special type Cosmo weapon because it doesn't look. Everything looks like it's a buff to your party as opposed to a debuff. So mark that up as another thing that special type just never gets in Cosmo.
And also, she's also limited. So.
Yep, until May 2nd. So another 2 weeks.
Wow, they're actually pumping these characters out a lot, though. I felt like we only got characters every like a month, but now we're getting them every 2 weeks or so.
We'll see. I mean, this is just gonna be interesting. I mean, I like her art, of course. I'm a Fluffy Tail Master Race member myself, so I'm a card-carrying member of that one.
You did make a spear.
I've made an SSR spear. That is correct.
Yeah. All right. I guess let's move on. So that's it for news today. I think so. Right now we're doing there's currently a Street Fighter 4 and 5 collab event going on, which we'll talk more about later. But I was thinking we could also introduce, our own new corner. I think, which would be kind of fun, which is a mailbox corner for real this time, as opposed to half-assed one like last time. But yeah, either way, our mailbox corner is here. If you're interested to send us some mail, we want to hear what's your Granblue Fantasy collab. So if you want to see, like, I don't know, another Tales collab, or you want to see some kind of wacky Magic the Gathering collab like I do, like, let us know what you have in mind. You can find this at xiei.moe, which is my website, /mailbox. You'll find out where you can enter there. I guess you notice on this little quest icon I have here, you do get a reward for completing this quest, which is if you send us a really good response, probably the best one, I'll send you 50 crystals. Wow, that's so many crystals. That's 1/6 of a roll.
What it is it's actually just finishing a quest. You might as well, right?
Yeah. So if you've got some time, you want to let us know what you think, go ahead and hit us up.
Exactly.
Alrighty.
Should we cover the topic of what dream collabs we want, or should we wait until next week for that?
I guess without getting too much into it, what would you like?
Whew. Man, I would really, really love King of Fighters.
King of Fighters. Staying with that fighting game.
I just want more fist characters. Okay, I've got my Cosmo Fist. I want to use it. I can already use it with basically a Rashid, Ryu, and then hopefully they'll rerun Miku so that we can get just like all SR Fist team and just punch the crap out of things.
Do characters use weapons in King of Fighters?
There's Billy Kane.
That true, yeah. I guess that would still be Kakuto though.
Unless they used Yamazaki, and then he'd be Dagger, and we'd be like, no, why? Why?
No, because what was it? Like, Ipatsu uses nunchucks, but it's considered a fist weapon.
That's true.
So yeah. Well, I guess Feather and Rock Howard will never meet, if that's the case.
That's actually secretly why I want the KOF collab. Just so I can have Rock Howard twice. I mean, that's kind of why I joined this game, was because I kind of half heard, that not only were they doing all these promotions, but there was a Milla Maxwell. I'm like, I could do this.
I see.
And then I missed out on Milla, so oops.
Yeah, I think I would probably do... Yeah, I'd probably actually like to see a Magic the Gathering one. We already have all the elements except Earth, so that'd be kind of fun, I think.
That's true.
Yeah, more or less. I guess Earth would have to be a fusion of like, not I don't know. I don't actually know what you would do. Maybe just no Earth part of the part of the event.
I mean, Earth is kind of green-red in ish. Like both of them get to use it, so yeah.
Kind of, yeah. So like it's tough. All right, either way, let us know, stream. Send us your mail. Now, moving on, there is in fact a Street Fighter collab going on. Put on some appropriate music.
And I'm so happy that this came out because I finished my Guild Wars character about 24 hours before it started. And guess what? I got the 5th Guild War character, Cease, or Seox is his Old English name. Ye Old English.
Yeah, this event is pretty by the numbers as far as what you do. You kill the bosses, and then you get stuff to buy things, or the bosses just drop the things you want. It's the kind of event that is fun for like the first like 2 days or so, and then you're like, well, how many more times do I have to kill this boss?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like Granblue Fighter Ultra Granblue Fighter has like a kind of cool twist in arcade mode, which it's okay. It like has really cool flavor to it, but it gets really slow after a while.
Yeah, arcade mode the first time around, I was just like, why am I still doing this?
Yeah, it's fun, but like it's fun to see like the beat up portraits and stuff, but it doesn't keep auto attack on, which is like the only really annoying thing I think.
Another annoying thing is that it just goes on forever.
Yeah, it's really long. By comparison, Granblue Fighter 5 it's kind of similar, but the survival mode is a little different. It gives you a different kind of currency that you can use instead of just the same item drops. And overall, the survival mode's actually I found it kind of fun, honestly.
Yeah, I find it very fun, but that's because I also ran a gimmick team. My gimmick team is just main character Ogre and Cease, just 2 characters, and then I just want to counterattack all day. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, it's really it has a lot of like kind of like it's funner to actually min-max because you kind of like are fishing for cool bonuses and you kind of actually have to think about some of the fights, but it's not too grindy as opposed to having all those extra menus to click through.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a Cosmo Fist and a bunch of Celeste Claws, every round takes 1 turn.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think like one of the cool things is there's a bonus thing you can pick every turn, which lowers your health. You just lower health, like so. People with wind and earth, or not earth, wind and dark can just lower the health to 1 and do absurd amounts of damage.
It's really cool. I can 1 turn my any 6 with my own 6, largely because it kills himself against me.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, honestly, and also it's quite rewarding. If you get enough bonuses, you can buy out the entire survival mode shop, which I've already done. And,
yeah, same.
You just buy, and you can buy extra blue crystals every day, which is really cool. Those of you who are really, really far away from your Guild War character, I do recommend checking it out. And of course, there's the usual stuff, you know, your weapons with EX skills and Cardi character. By the way, I really enjoy her art so far.
Everybody enjoys her art. It's like, oh, look, her hair isn't made of French fries.
I mean, everyone knows the Karin screenshot, right? The Street Fighter 5 one.
And then there's also the memes of like find a girl who can do both or whatever.
I mean, in general, that screenshot of Karin is used in a lot of funny derpy comparisons where it's like these consoles, these are all running on the same hardware, and then Street Fighter 5. Whew, brutal.
It really is.
Anyways, but yeah, she looks great in this game. Can't really complain. Though her attack normals are really goofy. She's doing standing hard punch from full screen. I don't understand.
Hey, it was a legitimate tactic in Alpha 3.
What? I guess it probably was. Yeah. you can put meter in that game, right?
Yeah, her standing hard punch was just dumb in that game.
I guess they brought that version over.
I guess so. Except that she has the fire hands from Street Fighter 5, so who knows?
I guess now that we're on this subject, I guess let's go ahead and talk about some of the characters we get in this event.
Yeah, so the first Granblue Fighter, Ultra Granblue Fighter, it came around while I was still free to play, and the characters were honestly a godsend. Like, Ryu just craps out damage. He does AoE damage with almost all of his moves, so you just fly through and You use like Shoryuken on one wave of trash. You use I think Hadouken's also AoE in that one. I don't know why it's AoE, but it is. And you just clear through content really fast with him just by pressing buttons. You're like, okay, that's cool.
At that time in the game, most people don't have an AoE attack most of the time, honestly.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that common to have AoE on SRs. It's gotten more common as they just print more of them up, of course. But it's a useful thing to have when you're at the point where you still need to like struggle through certain things, like the first levels of the conquest bosses. Like the big waves of trash that are stronger than you're used to.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning that what was it? His like Shoryuken is actually like a counter instead of it's kind of weird, but the way they chose to implement it, personally, from a fighting game perspective, I found it weird, but
yeah, same. It's also one of those things where any character who has a counter that doesn't actually taunt just doesn't do anything like 75% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, but overall, I felt like he's pretty solid for a lot of people who are starting the game will end up playing Win because it's so accessible for free-to-play kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those kind of strategies. So, I mean, honestly, he's pretty solid for that stage of the game.
Yeah, and a lot of their event characters have been characters who already favor the Magna or Omega weapons, because we've got Ryu and Rashid. They favor the Tiamat Fist.
Mm-hmm.
We had like the side M guy who favored Gun. We had Miku who also favors Fist. Like, there's a lot that you can get out of these characters. It's a lot of mileage.
Yeah, they end up doing damage above their class all the time, and maybe early, even into mid to late game sometimes, because depending on the weapon synergy.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's kind of surprising, but it makes sense.
And I mean, depending on how Rashid works out, it might be the case that people start bringing him to Yggdrasil HL just to have another way of reducing the damage she does. So, for those of you who aren't aware, there's two things at work here. So, Rashid's V-trigger, I think it is, when he uses, Izwal? Whatever it's called. When he does that, it provides a debuff of minus earth damage to the enemy. And what that means is that it's countered on a separate multiplier from regular minus attack, which is capped at 50%, aka Arrow Rain plus Miserable Mist, or Misery Mist. And so what that does is it just reduces a lot more damage than it normally would. He does something that is unique.
Yeah, you end up multiplying those two things together, and it's not very common, actually, to get that kind of specific debuff.
Yeah. And so what happens from there is that you go into Yggdrasil HL, and you realize that every other turn she's going to try and stick a pillar in you for about 5,000 to 6,000 damage if you're wind. So, and that is through, the usual missed arrow range shenanigans. And so you go, hey, if I could reduce that even more, then this becomes manageable, other than trying to pray for, a charm and a blind, because if it gets through, it still hurts a lot.
Yeah, so it's actually really, it could be workable. He's also, like the favored race, human, for that kind of stuff. So it could actually end up being kind of useful, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I personally don't play Win, so I wouldn't really know.
I mean, IGHL is already stable as it is. That's fine. People don't necessarily need him. But, it's nice. It's something that nothing else has.
It could be like one of those things where you play it as an alt kind of thing, and you play Win as an alt, and perhaps you need some extra stuff.
Or you're just, one of those guys who likes to support.
Yeah.
There are those people.
I guess I'm technically one of them.
Yeah. I mean, think about those guys in Earth who do nothing but Catherine all day. And just like, alright, I just need to have we just need to have these two debuffs on at all times, and then for the rest of this boss fight, all I'm doing is trying to stay alive. It's
looking at charm taking down over and over again.
Yeah. I mean, there are people who do that, though. Think about all those people who play healers in MMOs. Think of all the people who suffered through playing as paladins in Vanilla WoW when your entire job was to buff 40 people every 5 minutes.
That was totally me. Except, I didn't even get to the raid part. I was still at the part where my primary way of defeating enemies was living longer than them.
Yep,
Oh,
that happened.
sucked.
But you did it because it was how you made it into content.
Yeah, actually, I didn't make it to 60. Actually, the story will probably end up coming a lot, but I ended up getting really sick playing WoW, and so I couldn't. So then when I finally got better, I couldn't actually play WoW anymore because I was just the whole sickness association was still with the game.
Yikes. Okay, that's totally fair.
Yeah, I tried to come back many years later, and I was like, man, I can't play this game for some reason.
Hey, man, that's probably for the best.
Yeah, I ended up skipping out on a lot of other things that people were not too happy with, so whatever.
Oh well. But yeah, I mean, Rashid does something that no one else has, and so if you're just coming into the game, and there are a lot of people just coming into the game because of English or because of 7 days of 10 rolls, then it'll be nice.
Reasons.
Yeah. There's just a lot to like from all of these collaboration characters. I keep saying this, but SR characters, there are a lot of people who are like, oh, it has to be gold border or it's crap. And it's like, well, yes and no, because there are a lot of these characters who just do something no one else does. There's Jasmine in Earth who just makes you immune to debuffs for 3 turns.
Yeah,
and
which is awesome.
Yeah, I've been looking into doing Macula Marius because I'm a masochist and maining water, and it's like, well, you have to have at least 2 of the following characters or you just don't get to play.
Yeah, I mean, SRs are... I mean, because a lot of people come from other games where the power of the balance is mostly front-loaded to characters, but this is a game where it's mostly loaded onto the weapons instead. The characters still matter, obviously, but it's more about their utility, versus in other games, it would be the utility of, the weapon or the other thing as opposed to the character.
Yeah, exactly. It's about the abilities. Sometimes you bring in a character with just awful stats for their abilities. The classic is just any kind of healer.
Mm-hmm.
Or, characters who do something no one else does.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, definitely, if you're on the fence about getting a character, you're thinking about getting a weapon instead, depending on what part of the game is, it could be an appropriate choice, but, do consider that they are, fairly solid.
Yeah. But anything else that we have about Street Fighter event?
Let's see.
Actually, there was one thing that I wanted to mention. So, this time is the introduction of something new to the event structure, because usually you have hell modes in all these events. So you just mash long enough on Extreme, and then you would get hell mode eventually, and then you would fight that for 0. And what they're doing now that Maniac mode exists and it's time limited per day, then what you do is you go in and you're just like, alright, well, I don't want to farm that much. Let's go into this Maniac mode. And there's only 2 of them a day for each boss. Unfortunately, the first time they've done this with 4 bosses, and so that's a little too much.
Yeah.
So it's been really eating at my resources. Not that I have to tell you twice, given that you are way lower than I am.
Yeah, I mean, the Maniac structure is cool. I mean, they introduced it with Cinderella Girls and the Conquest rotation, but it's the first time it's been a primary source of stuff, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
In Cinderella Girls, because you can only fight that boss twice anyway, so whether or not you got something was a mystery. But this time around, there's 8 of them, and now you can get a majority of your loot just by doing these kind of daily, all the Maniacs.
Yeah, and so, it's one of those things where it's nice if you can do them. If you can't do them, then it's really no skin off your back, because some of them are kind of rough. I know a lot of people who are saying that Nikali is tougher than normal purely because he doesn't have an OD bar and can't be broken.
Yeah. I personally have the most trouble with Sagat. I can't do enough damage to him before he hits me with his gajillion damage Tiger Shot.
So Tiger Uppercut is hilarious, by the way,
Yeah.
because the way Tiger Uppercut is coded, and we don't know why, it goes through everything. It is what FGC people would call unfuckwittable.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of what their design choices were actually not really Street Fighter 4 based, but more Super Turbo based.
It's true. But yeah, so Tiger Uppercut will always do the same amount of damage to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're using like Yoda's dodge, which otherwise is a perfect dodge. It doesn't matter if you're using freaking Dark Jeanne d'Arc with her I Don't Die ability. It will kill her.
It's pretty amazing.
Like,
That's how great Tiger Uppercut is.
Seriously.
For those of you who don't play fighting games.
Yeah, Tiger Uppercut's weird, man. It's weird.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess that pretty much does it for Street Fighter. This event is going on for a few more days. It's honestly, it's okay. Like I said, it gets boring after you've killed the boss a good number of times. It just becomes like your brain just turns off and you're just like, all right, let's keep going.
Oh yeah, 100%. Your brain just turns off. You're like, okay, we just keep going.
But yeah, it's only up to how much you really want to farm for anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was that guy who I got pretty insane drops from Maniac, by the way. So those who haven't really been paying attention to Maniac mode or are just getting into it, is that Maniac modes all have a chance to apparently drop the Hihiro Kane, which is like the super high level, I guess, limit breaking material / uncapping material / you need one for a Guild War character.
Yep. Wait, someone got more than one of these? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, but he killed like Sagat on Maniac or something, and he got a Hihiro Kane and 2 SSR weapons. Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, because the Maniacs are 3 battles, so he probably got 1 from each.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, there's a question in chat actually about we didn't cover Chun or Karin. We covered Ryu and Rashid.
Yeah, I think let's see, what was it? We can go ahead and go through them real quick. Doesn't seem like a bad idea.
Yeah, so Chun is really easy to evaluate. She has 3 nukes. One of them gives them minus defense, which is nice on an SSR, or sorry, an SR. Especially since the SSRs only like Lancelot and Charlotta have it. So, you know, if you don't have those, then it's nice to have an extra source of it.
Yeah, I do think that at SR level, it's quite strong. You don't really see that a lot on SRs. So she can end up being a reliable part of your team for a lot of the portions of the game that you don't have like the full SSR team.
Yeah, and actually I used to use her a lot in Colossus because given that she has 3 nukes, I usually had her come off of the bench when someone got dimensional cleaved. And then she would just come in and pump out a couple 100,000 damage, and hopefully that would kill him. And if not, well, next person up.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, for that kind of battle where you end up losing people regardless of what you do, it's definitely a good choice.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that you should always keep in mind for your back row. Someone who can come out and just pop out a lot of damage immediately and hopefully just act as a closer that way. I actually, this week from my Star Legend, got Vazaraga, sorry. And that's pretty much his design. He comes out of the back row, hulks up, does 2 big nukes, and then hopefully can swing away at full power already.
And then hopefully they die before anything else happens.
Exactly.
But I mean, it does work. It's definitely like, I mean, bench characters are a pretty important part of Granblue as you go forward and farther into like high level content, because oftentimes like you just get unlucky. It does happen, so you do need like a backup plan a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what you do, sometimes, you know, there's a 60% chance of a boss hitting Vampy twice, for example, just to take a random example, and she just dies, and you're like, well, there's nothing I could have done about that one.
Yeah, it's pretty common to when you fight Chevelle here, but yeah. Sometimes the random nukes too, you just get like unlucky with those. So yeah, back row is important, guys. Let's talk about Karin a little bit now.
So, Karin, I'm not quite as familiar with. She's basically, I was looking at her before, and she just looks like a pretty standard, solid design for an attacker at SR. Oh, you have 11 gold chests. What did you get?
I don't know. I did get a flip on the second battle.
You did?
I did, yes.
Is it blue crystal, or is it...
It's a gold cert.
Gold cert? Nice.
They do flip, so get used to flips. Not like I didn't get excited or anything because I knew it could have just been nothing.
Yep. The Proto Bahamut special.
Yep.
And also once Guild Wars comes out and you do Hell mode, that's going to be flips for everyone. It's going to be a guaranteed blue crystal.
I rarely got blue crystals from that actually. I got lots of rainbows, but
oh, is it rainbow?
Yeah. You get certificates from him too, though. So
Yeah. So anyway, does
Yeah.
that lead? Actually, no. Karin. Let's see here. So she's kind of designed for long fights, given that her install. I'm not really calling it a transformation. Lasts for 9 turns.
yeah, basically her first skill is a buff buff, I guess, is probably a smart way to call it. It lasts for 9 turns and has a 13 tune cooldown. So there's actually a lot of uptime on it compared to a lot of other characters. She's also got nukes, but she can only do them she only do her third one when she has the first skill on, but it is a good one.
Yeah.
It has very low cooldown and it does pretty good damage. Also,
That's pretty.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
So overall, as long as the fight will last more than a few turns, you can definitely get some use out of spending her meter to power her up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty standard just punch things SR design.
Yeah, I do think that given that Fire does not have a really reliable fist kind of weapon, her potency is somewhat diminished.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of the other SRs in Fire, like Alec, for example, uses stabs, so...
Yeah, there's a lot of really good Fire SRs already. I mean, there's just so much out there. There's Tina, who heals and has her nukes and stuff like that, and she blinds now that she's 5-star. There's Lena, who does a lot of stuff. If you were around for Guild Wars, for Slayer's Magna, there's just so much utility at the SR level for Fire. Honestly.
Yeah, compared to a lot of other elements, for example, Wind and Wind's SR level is, I would say, utility-wise, it's actually kind of, besides Mimel and Stera, who is not really utility, I would say.
And she's also unavailable to anybody who started in the last 10 months.
But yeah, either way, if you're hurting for Fire SRs, I think it's not a terrible choice. I'm not 100% sure since I think for a lot of players at this level, they end up fighting Tiamat as their main wind battle. So I'm not 100% sure how effective she is on that kind of fight, since that is one of the shorter ones.
And then another thing is that, Fire has seriously double the number of SRs of a lot of other elements.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard not to get Fire SRs. You have to try. And even then, they might just fall into your lap.
It's true. The other thing about we probably forgot to mention this, but all the Street Fighter characters have this special debuff system.
Oh yeah, Dizzy?
Yeah, where if you hit them enough, they get dizzied for a short time. It's not really something you can rely on, but it is kind of if you're wondering what happens, it does exist.
Yeah, there's a hidden stun bar, unsurprisingly. Once again, Super Turbo style and not actually Street Fighter V style.
Either way, it can save you, and if you're wondering what happens, there is kind of a secret mechanic for that kind of stuff. And it's not terrible. It's just extra stuff you have. And when you use a lot of the Street Fighter characters together, it's a lot easier to pull off a stun because they all kind of increase this secret meter that causes stun damage.
And hey, I remember it saving my butt exactly once during Proto Bahamut, and that's enough to leave a good memory.
I see. I've never actually had it do anything particularly useful, but yeah, stun is something that Light is kind of spoiled with, so I can't really say much about that.
Jerk.
Anyways, I guess I can move on now.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
do attempt the Street Fighter event. Even if you can't really get too far in it, I think most people will get those fist tickets, which lets you pull a fist character, which are really great if you're just starting out. You can get a lot of characters from this event just by pulling those tickets, and then maybe picking up some of the SR characters. Even if you're just starting right now, you can get at least the fist tickets, which will give you 3-ish guaranteed characters if you're just starting out.
They didn't give me... Well, okay, it's 2 guaranteed character tickets, one from Street Fighter 4, one from Street Fighter 5. And then survival mode gives you 3 tickets that give you a guaranteed fist weapon, but not a guaranteed character with that fist weapon.
Actually, for people who are just starting, so you were around during the first Street Fighter 4. We got if you bought that ticket, it remembers you bought that ticket already.
Yep.
So I got to buy it, but you know, I'm sure a lot of other old bees didn't get to buy it.
It's fair enough. But I mean, I'm trying to do this as lightly as possible because I need to save my resources for the upcoming Unite and Fight. This is gonna be a critical one.
Yeah, those Unite and Fight. I think it's still safe to call them Guild Wars because they're not called Guild Wars in Japanese anyway.
Yeah. Showdown at the ancient battlefield of the stars.
Yeah, aka Guild War.
Yeah.
So Guild War is coming up right after Street Fighter V and 4, this event. Unfortunately, we don't have any information about it because it happens to fall on kind of a weird date. It's like right the same day as the time the official Japanese Granblue Radio show comes out, Granblue Channel. So there's really no way to really predict what element it will be. Based on like past events, like people have looked at all of the previous Guild Wars, and people have like guessed that it'll probably be Earth elemental enemies, just based on the breakdown.
Yeah,
I think Earth sticks out as having the least.
It's 3 of everything else except for Dark, because Halloween is always a Dark event. So Earth has only had 2 in terms of bosses. So that means, yeah, in order to even things out, it would take an Earth elemental, an Earth elemental boss for Guild Wars. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, the theory would be also, oh, they're releasing a wind character. Of course you're going to fight an Earth boss. It's like, no, that doesn't hold up at all.
Yeah, it could be. It could still be anything. I mean, Cygames has surprised us with very strange things,
like,
structure-wise at least.
Yeah. No way they're releasing another Fire SSR. They've done that. Fire has more than everything else. Oh, they're releasing Aoidos and the Hot Potato. Hooray!
Yeah, 2 in a row.
Fire SSRs.
Yeah. Kind of. Well, it's just what can you really say about that, you know?
Yeah, seriously.
If it does turn out to be Earth, though, it will probably be a rerun. They have not really developed. Like, oftentimes these Guild Wars are reruns because they just use like the same enemies, and oftentimes the last time it was run is oftentimes years ago because it's like there's themed Guild Wars, and sometimes they're just like, you know, the Showdown at the Star kind of type. So, I mean, it's expected that it'll be a rerun of some sort, and it'll just have the same enemies from before. So oftentimes, there's a lot of people have kind of like a leg up on it because like, oh yeah, I remember this, or I don't remember this, but they can just look it up.
And besides, so far in the Guild Wars I've done, like 80% of them all have the same mechanics. It's like, oh look, it's 50%. Time for the boss to punch us a lot.
Oh yeah, that is I mean, it's pretty much a mainstay, and it gives you a status effect that you ultimately end up curing with the items.
Yeah. But the thing that I'm actually interested in this Guild Wars is that's going to be the second Guild Wars that comes after the release of Moons. And so when people looked at, you know, the natural graph of how many points it took to qualify, there was a pretty smooth slope until you hit Slayers, which was a 2-day qualifier for some reason. And then there was a big spike for that. But it was a pretty smooth line that the borderline was. And then with the release of Moons and also 2 Magnafests in a row, then the amount shot way over what people were expecting. So a lot of guilds got caught sleeping. And so the question is, how much of this time is the rebound? Or will it just sort of normalize because people burned through so many of their potions last time? But who knows? It's probably not going to be that latter case. That's just wishful thinking.
I think since everyone got 73 rolls, it's just going to be a steady. I think it'll just be down to how much people grind as opposed to how much resources they have.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, luckily my guild last time was pretty on point. And we almost got seeded, but we slacked off. We were just like, we're not going to get seeded. Let's just not do anymore.
Yeah,
we were
this time
we're close.
We can push.
Yeah,
see what happens.
It'll be a lot of players in the first Guild War, as it always is. So if you're interested to see how Guild Wars work, I do have a general primer on my website. You can take a look at that. It won't help you for this specific Guild War, obviously, since The rules are always slightly modified, but it's always good to know what you're getting into, what you're aiming for, that kind of thing. It can definitely help you with that.
And then what's actually really interesting to me is what happens after this Guild Wars, because they've said that after after Street Fighter, which is pretty silly, although it does explain the story of Street Fighter V better than Street Fighter V does. Shoutouts to that. They are going to make sure that the next event after like the Loane really, really silly event, that the next one's pretty serious. And if you've done any of the previous stories, some of them can get really dark too. Like the Lucius and Tina event, the one that Fina comes from, is incredibly dark. And it's pretty impressive in that way. If you've done Lucius's 5-star, then you have a good idea of what it looks like. And like when their writing can get pretty good, and it'll just sort of stay with you for a while. So, we'll see what happens on this next one. It might be the first stage of the second story arc. It might just be a side story. It's probably just a side story.
Yeah, I would expect side story too. I mean, it might be like a closing kind of side story, maybe. Because I figure it'll probably be the last kind of new scenario before they start introducing a lot of the new content.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be Alicia event. People have been begging for that for years because she's been a side character for so long, and then you're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna meet your dad someday. Your dad's pretty cool. Oh, her dad's pretty cool. Don't call me my dad, blah 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 blah. And then like after the credits roll in the first arc, it's like, oh that's your dad. Hello.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess we'll find out after Guild War.
Yeah, there's a lot that needs to be announced still. Like this Gacha update, it's designed to get a lot of people talking about it and a lot of speculation about what all these characters do as usual.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Guild Wars is, like you said, since all of the assets and designs get reused so often, it's basically a break to try and make sure that the next event goes well and gets refined a lot.
Yeah, I do feel like with the structure of some of these events where it just kind of like the dev cycle is really apparent to a lot of us, and it helps us prepare too, honestly. Personally, I kind of prefer this kind of candor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it for, I guess, Guild Wars coming up. I guess we'll find out. I mean, by next week, Guild Wars would have already started. You will probably just watch me. Actually, it's gonna be during the break, I think. Next show. So it starts on the 25th in Japan, which is Sunday for us.
Yeah.
So the next Guild War might either be the first battle, or it will be on the break in between. It could be either or.
Yeah, they vary the schedule a lot, so who knows. There's usually only one interval day though for people to farm their eyeballs.
Yeah, I would expect. I would honestly expect it to be like next show to be either on the first battle, but yeah, I guess you'll either be watching me grind or sitting here doing nothing.
Yeah, I'll be grinding the same because a lot of Guild Wars overlaps with Northwest Majors, so we're gonna be losing a couple people to Revelator, to Nitro Plus Blasters, to oh my god, let me find that again. It was in our guild Discord. What is it?
Overwatch?
Oh, Higurashi versus Toho Universe 2.
What?
You didn't look in there? Sam was going insane over that, over a 2012 cosplay mocap fighter game.
That sounds... I refuse.
Awful?
Oh, I know what this crap is. I remember this.
It's like, Sam, what are you doing? Why are you trying to smuggle this into the US? You're going to get deported, Sam.
Aren't all the mocap people they're actual members of the fighting game scene, isn't it?
I don't want to know anymore. I don't. This is delving into deep eldritch secrets right now.
Yeah, I guess we'll leave that on the shelf for everybody else to think about.
But yeah, next week is gonna be basically the two of us trying to talk to each other while we're furiously clicking away at bosses.
Well, yeah, it really depends on what color it is for me.
That's fair. Meanwhile, I, as the master of... Well, not the master, the maintainer of all elements, we're going to need some... Oh, hold on. I just got a message that. Oh, the FGC guild that is not Giuna's guild or your guild. It's called Trap House. We're recruiting for a couple of spots for this Guild Wars. So we're gonna have to try and find some more people too. I think we may just try and poach them for from your Discord, James.
Let's see. Yeah, it could happen. Currently, we're looking for one person. It's getting kind of awkward, but there's some shady backroom deals with like some other guild that I'm talking to, but it probably will not affect anyone directly.
Wow. Are you splitting the pot? Is that what's gonna happen? Are you turning into those match fixers in North region?
That would be sick if I could actually fix a match. I don't think I can. I don't think I have that much influence yet, but that would be cool.
You mean your guild can't pump out 1 billion points on their own?
That would be sick, but yeah, maybe in the distant future.
Yeah, so here's another tip for people in Guild Wars. So by the time the next show is, the next Guild Wars will have started, so we don't have to say this now, but there are guilds who are so powerful that they can single-handedly alter the odds of Guild Wars bookmaking. And so they do this very frequently, specifically so that they can rig the bets and say, oh, look, we're so behind at the betting cutoff. Oh, we're so behind. Okay, guys, it's time to drop the billion.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool, the way I see it. Like, you know, it's because like the odds can only predict based on what people are doing, but you can't predict their potential power. So they can kind of do some pretty crazy stuff, and you may not be able to. We'll talk more about betting tips next time and whether or not it's actually a good bet because, you know, that stuff is still up in the air. But either way, it'll be interesting to see. All right.
There's a lot that's going to happen between now and then. I'm going to need to spend a lot of time reading up on these new characters too, just because my sheet is already one character behind. We need to just go. I need to do a lot of updating. Oh god, I need to do this. I need to update the ability names for English patch still.
Ooh, I would personally put that off.
Yeah. But
I don't
anyway,
know if it'll get changed back, so it's kind of tough.
yeah, the translation's still in flux. You're right. I'll put it off until there's an official, finalized English version. AKA, it'll never happen.
What was it? So I think, yeah, that about covers it for upcoming events. I mean, you'll hear it from me. Oh yeah, I think on the 24th, I'll be getting my Tier 4 class and also my Guild War character number 2. So maybe there'll be a short stream.
Man, your ability to grind is impressive.
It's just spreadsheets, and then when I actually start playing, I just zone out.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like I said, I have way less focus than you, so I just got my first Guild Wars character. My Tier 4 class is about a month off. You know, the usual stuff.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're on the way there, it's okay.
Yeah, I have a plan. It's just a matter of like, you know what? I'm gonna take my time. Besides, it's gonna be high season for me soon with for just a lot of like just a lot of really busy times at work coming up.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm still having a lot of fun with all of this stuff. Being able to go like medium hard as opposed to full ham all the time really helps me sustain interest in this game too.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, me personally, I love doing more and more content, but I'm gonna run dry pretty soon. I've already done a lot of the high-level raids as well, so that's also kind of cool because I'm out of potions basically. I can basically chill.
But what'll you do for the CPM, James?
I'll just talk about Granblue instead of playing it. Hey.
That's fair. Hey.
That deserves a sound effect.
Well, you know what they say, those who can do and those who can't teach. Definitely applies to me.
Yeah, Concole apparently starts right after Guild War. There's a new Concole event that I'm kind of behind on grinding for, but that'll be its own thing.
Isn't there like what is it? It wasn't an Android version. There's like a Vita version that's going through its
The
cases
Vita version
too?
did come out, and
Okay.
I think it was sold. This is like a super tangent, but it was sold completely on the back of the American battleship Iowa, and everyone loves her design. Those iris pupils, man. Star-spangled thigh highs. But what was it? Yeah, you'll probably see another 24-hour stream from that, but that's completely unrelated to this show. So tune in for that. If you'd like to see me sit here and like slowly fume.
Well, anyway, I think that's a good way to sign off of the show. Just remember, guys, we will be giving you guys 50 crystals for sending in good email. Just let us know what you want Granblue to collaborate with next, and why it would be interesting and fun. Or,
Before that happens, it's that time again.
Oh no!
It's that time again.
Is it the time for the great money matching?
Here we go. So this week was they did like surprise ticket where you can pick a character or summon. I picked a summon. I'm boring. Leave me alone. But also there's also Star Legend Gacha, which guarantees one SSR thing. So for the sake of the show, I decided to roll on Gun and Axe Day, which is kind of dangerous for me. There's actually nothing I super want.
Well, you do want the gun elements.
Yeah, I do want the gun elements, but $30 for gun elements, I don't know. Either way, it is something I decided I was gonna roll on. I am. This is what number match is this?
This is the third one.
This is the third match.
And so, since I rolled on Sword Day, I'll let people know. I got Vazaraga, and I got Satyr. So Satyr is one of the worst elements in the... one of the worst summons in general. 30% only, provides regen, is not used by anybody who's actually serious at this game, is instantly replaced by any given event. And then...
You break it down for elements, basically.
That's what I did.
Unless they buffed it or something, but...
So yeah, that is your bar. A B tier a B tier character, and a bottom tier summon.
So what do I need to roll to beat that? If I roll an S tier character, do I win?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll take that then. So I guess the two outs for me for winning would be like UL and Gray. And then personally, like in my particular list here, Silva and Lina are rated higher because I need guns.
And so, also, I will never say anything bad about Silva. She carried me for the first 8 months of this game.
But yeah, I think Lina is actually not bad either as a wind healer and pretty much the only one. But aside from that, the best characters there would be probably Gray and UL. As for me personally, Gawain, he's okay too, but I don't want him. He's probably like the worst way to start your wind team. And I don't have any wind SSRs. So there's literally nothing I could do with him. He would just be there.
Yeah, Gawain needs you to be a decent way into the game for him to be useful to you. It's like, alright, I take less damage. I still can't kill the guy.
Yeah, it doesn't do me any good at the moment.
But he does play well into the late game wind game plan of just taking as much damage as possible before dying, and then he presses a button and does a million damage.
Yeah, it works.
An actual million damage.
Alright, let's put on we need the actual trauma music to go with this. Is the music playing? It is not playing. So
I am ready.
I'm gonna have to put it on myself then. Where is it? This is the wrong song, but it's probably appropriate.
Good enough. I'll allow it.
Alright, so as you'll notice here, there's a 24% chance that I'll get what I want. There is a 24% chance that I'll get something that I'll find useful. There's an 8% chance I'll get something I don't really want. There's a 8% chance that I'll get something that I'll probably turn off the stream immediately. And
oh man,
as you notice, that doesn't add up to 100%, because it's Granblue, and even though there's rate up on gun and axe characters, there are still a million other things that can pop out of this thing. So yeah, that's a thing. So it can get as good as you know, anything I want, or as bad as two things that I don't want. So I guess we'll find out.
Here we go.
Oh man, I gotta like, actually rubbing my hands together never works. I do it every time, it never works. I'm just gonna do it. Go.
Have you ever been to a craps table? Because rubbing your hands together totally works.
This is not craps. You have a chance to win in craps. All right, so when you roll this crystal, you always get the rainbow. You can't get a yellow one, which is always good. But so that's, you know, the first hurdle is clear. At least the game didn't bug out and not give you an SSR. Let's find out what we got though.
I'm excited.
1 SSR. So unless this is an X tier SSR, I lose. That's a rare. Trash. Usable trash. Still, I got a bronze moon. Okay. Another bronze moon. An axe. Damn. So SR guns would have been okay with me too. I rolled partially for SR guns too. Hey, we got a... What carbuncle is this? Garnet? It's an earth carbuncle. Okay. I don't have one of those. Another axe! This is a silver moon. I don't even know who comes on this thing. And SSR. Ewell boys!
Nice!
Okay. Do I win?
Yeah?
Alright, I did it! So, what's really funny is, actually last Star Gacha, I rolled a Sochi. So I think there's a little bit of magnetism there.
Do you have Marie?
Yes, I do.
Nice. That means that she's gonna come in fully buffed as long as you remember to actually level Marie.
I did, actually. I leveled her to 50 because I used her for a while.
Yeah, she's good.
Alright, put on the victory music. Where is that?
Oh, that means it's 2-1. Oh, but I can't be mad about this one because UL, she was my first SSR ever. It took me like a month. Yeah, she was. If you look in my order of acquisition for, let's see, hold on, let's go to characters. Got not recent. Wow, that's a very strange. So I have a full page of Rs and SRs, and then my first Legend Fest. So let's see here. Other than story SRs who don't count, it took me 36 characters before I got an SSR, and it was UL.
I see. Yeah, I was, let's see.
Amusingly, she came in the same role, though, as both R Petra and SSR Petra. So who knows? That was just weird.
That is kind of weird. But yeah, that fills out my fire team, actually. My fire team's finished now, pretty much.
UL, Percival, and then a ham sandwich?
Yeah, Claris in this case.
Yeah, Magisa is like more generically powerful against boss BS, but Clarice is just so good.
Yeah, I guess that means I have to keep chasing the stupid fire dream. So like, one of the worst memes about my Granblue experience is I roll all the fire characters, but Colossus hates me and will not drop any stabs. But
I've rolled so many more fire characters than you have. The game keeps giving me fire SSRs when I don't need them anymore. I have freaking 9, I think, SSR fire characters, except for the one I want. Let's take a look at this.
I've finally gotten one staff though. It's, I think, about 200 runs.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But I guess the fire meme will live on this stream.
That reminds me that I should upgrade and uncap my Zeta in case the card game dream is real and she actually does get her 5-star, which was rumored actually for the Beatrix event. So they've been rumoring this one for a while. It's mostly wishful thinking, but who knows?
It could happen.
It could happen. Everybody's on the hype train for SSR Zeta and well, she's both versions of her SSR, normal Zeta, and you know, maybe this time it's real. Maybe this time.
Alrighty. Well, that was the rule. I'm up 2-1.
I'll get you next time, Shay.
In our current battle series. Though I didn't roll any guns, which is I didn't roll a single gun.
Yeah, I'm crying for you. I'm crying for you, James Shay.
Anyways, I guess I'll close it out here. Remember to send us your mail. We are waiting for your mail. We want to see what kind of responses you have. The best response will get 50 crystals courtesy of me, as long as you don't make a mistake in putting your ID in. But yeah, we'll read them next time. We'll also be covering Guild War next time and whatever other new news comes out, new characters and so on and so forth. Anything else you want to sign out on?
Find us on Discord. We're always there to answer questions, even the stupid ones.
Yeah, I feel like in today's new player climate, we get a lot of casino whining, but
it happens. I mean, even with old players, they go back to casino whining. You're back in the bingo mines, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I whined the most about casino when I started. At least a month of constant whining. So that's why I give everyone a pass. I'm like, all right, it's only been a month. So,
but you know, it's just like being a poker player, right? Where there's only so many times you can hear the same story. It's like, oh, I was up this much, and then he suckered me out at the end. It's like, well, yeah, that's how the game works.
Yeah. Well, on that note, stream, we're going to close it out today. See you guys next time.
See you next time.